make my rules. Wooden planks and a furnace hot. Turn that ore into what I've sought. Shears for sheep, a bed's my lot. Survive the night, give it all I've got. Axes swing and the forests fall. Endless crafting, I'll take it all. Block by block, I'll build it all. Farm the wheat, then plant it tall. Diamond pick in a cavern cool. In Minecraft, I make my rules.
We're tossing pearls and I'm crossing my fingers. But the scent of a failure is a scent that lingers. I'm DJ Brunch and I'm brunching on stone in a mossy brick basement all on my own. We followed the signal, we tracked down the spark. Now we're stumbling round in the damp in the dark. The game gen is glad to the math is all wrong. It's the longest shortcut that I've taken along. And it's a mess, it's a muddle, it's a fuddle, it's a flop. I'm waiting for the floor and the ceiling to stop. I found a wooden door just hanging in the air. I'd open it up, but there's nothing but prayer. And a 50-block drop to a cavernous floor. I don't think I'm finding the end anymore. I'm turning a corner and hitting a wall. Is there even a point to this fortress at all? I'm checking the hallways, I'm checking the vents, but the layout is lacking in all common sense. It's a dead-end street in a cobblestone town where the stairs go up just to lead us back down. The library is here and the silverfish bite. I've been lost in this basement for most of the night, but I shouldn't complain, cause it could be much worse. Like the guys on the server with the quadruple curse. They found a quad stack. It was legendary, briefly. A dungeon, a mine shaft, a trial chamber too. All smashed in a stronghold, a world gen stew. But they couldn't find the portal, no they couldn't find the gate. They were standing on the loop, but they arrived a little late. Because the chests were all empty or the luck was just poor. They got a piece of stale bread and a single iron sword. Yeah, an iron And it's a mess, it's a muddle, it's a fuddle, it's a flop. I'm waiting for the floor and the ceiling to stop. I found a wooden door just hanging in the air. I'd open it up, but there's nothing but prayer. And a 50-block drop to a cavernous floor. I don't think I'm finding the end anymore. I'm still lost. It's a fucking generation. A floating door and a whole lot of nothing. Does anyone have a map? DJ Brunch signing off. Hey guys, I found the portal room.
In a world of fire where the lava flows, the danger is a shadow that grows and grows. The sheepwood heroes need a way across.
Hello, this is DJ Brunch. Welcome to my first ever live stream. I'm going to be working through trying to create a mod during this live stream. We'll kind of pick a direction and build out a mod during this. Let me switch over here so you can see me. There we go. So, for this, I want to build out a mod to make it somewhat easier on myself for the testing part of it when we want to demo it after creating. We are going to build this mod in Java and using the Fabric API to do a lot of the work for us. So I'm going to walk through essentially the full process as best as I can to show you kind of what I do to get it ready to go, and how I kind of keep track of the code and the assets through version control, which, hey, the dad. So with that, I want to be able to kind of show project setup and things like that. This is a process that I follow for any project I do as a software engineer. And so I kind of applied my software engineering skills to how I go about the modding process as well. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over and show you what I'm going to set up for version control inside of GitHub as my starting point. And then I will kind of work through various steps here. I'm going to kind of get the project all set up and then kind of pick what we want to build out of that. And so I'm probably going to jump around from my browser to my code editor. I am using a code editor called Cursor. It started off as like a port or a fork of VS Code. But it's kind of evolved into its own thing, and I think recent announcements are around like SpaceX AI is purchasing them, I think, at this point. So it's moved just in like a year quite a bit. But my preference for development, and a lot of developers I think are kind of getting used to this now, and our job has changed a lot in the last year and a half, where we're writing a lot less code, and we're more into the strategy of what it is that we're building, how should we build it, and using AI to basically generate code for us. Historically, there's always been like code like helpers that prompt you and things like that. And now with AI, it's more of a like you just tell it what you want and how roughly it should do it, and then it goes through and it does it for most of the coding. And it takes far less time than handwriting your code and things like that. So let me try switching over here. I want to switch to this scene. Nope. Let me jump back here. Actually, I'm going to have to do this on the fly. So do this, add screen. There we go. Alright, so I've got a browser up on this screen. Hopefully you can all see this right now. Just highlighting the music I have playing in the background is Suno AI generated stuff that I've generated over the past 9 months or so. So that's what's playing in the background, and at some point it's going to stop, and I'll probably have to restart it. But that's, if you're curious, that's what's playing in the background. And so I'm going to jump over to GitHub, and I am going to add a new repository here, and I'm just going to call it Livestream July 16th. So what this is going to do is create on GitHub what's called a repository, which is where all of your code and assets get stored in GitHub. And with that, then what I'll do is I'll kind of check out the code locally. Hey, Emerald. Hey, Ray. I did see that Suno was hacked. Let's see, where was I at? Oh yeah, description for the code repo. This will just be the Minecraft mod from Livestream on July 16th. I am going to make this public on GitHub so that if anybody's interested in modding and seeing how the structure is, you'll be able to find it, and I'll put the link probably in the description of the live stream afterwards. I'm just going to leave all these as defaults for now and hit create repository. And so what that's going to do is it creates the repository, and then what I need to do next with that is essentially clone the repository down onto my local machine. And so to do that, I'm going to jump over into let's see, where do I want to jump to? I think I'm going to just jump to a terminal window on my side. GitHub does have an app, I believe, that you can install on your local to be able to check out repositories and commit stuff on your desktop. It's too loud. All right, let me pull it down. Did that pull it down? Did that drop it down enough? All right, cool. So let me grab, where's my checkout command? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do a checkout. Sorry, remembering my commands. I want to git clone. All right. Okay, so now what I've done is basically set up my local. I've checked out this repository. And with this, what I'm going to do then is switch over now to Cursor, and I'm going to open up this project to get started. Oh, nice. The dad used Git for the first time. Yeah, it's super helpful for version control on things, especially when dealing with code. So let me see if my scenes work. There we go. All right, that is not showing the right window in Cursor, so let me switch which cursor window. There we go. So I'm going to click Open Projects, open up that Livestream project. And so a little bit before this, I put together a Claude skill that I'm hoping will give me, and I'll be able to publish this out as well, a way to start a Java mod with Fabric in it. So I'm about to test this in real time in front of you. So it should be kind of looking at things. I believe it's going to ask me a couple questions. So let's see, target directory. I want it to do it in the current directory. What Minecraft version do I want it to do? In this case, what I found when I was doing one of the other mods, specifically I was working through the last one I did a video on, the Clovercraft mod, where I added the clovers that you could place down like leaf litter and flowers. I found that even though we're on version like 26.2 or 26. Yeah, I think it's 26.2 for the versions, the scripting behind the scenes still uses older versions within that. And so I found like the 1.21.4 works in this latest version and doesn't kind of start to break things for me. So I'm going to go with that. And then, yeah, we'll just do that. Let's see, what are we going to call it? Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll just do this automatic stuff and just see where it gets us, because we can always refactor things later if we need to. Let's call it that. Yes, I want to just allow that for this session so I don't have to prompt it every time. And yep, I'll allow that as well. And if you missed at the beginning, I mentioned like coding now basically has kind of become like use your AI coding piece to do majority of your work for you, in terms of like actually writing code and structuring the project and various things like that. I might be able to switch this to auto mode and I won't get as many prompts, I think. So maybe while that's kind of getting the project ready to go, let's talk about what we'll actually put in this mod. So I've got kind of a list of ideas that came out of the Dad Who Plays community, and I listed a few in the description on YouTube, but I'm also open to suggestions if anybody has like an idea that they were thinking off the top of their head or something like that. But the ones, let me pull up and look at my list. The ones that I kind of had looked at were things like one of the ideas the dad, had was the idea of having some kind of brown leaves. And I know the update coming in the fall is going to have the new tree with the different colored leaves, but I don't think there was any brown ones in that release for what we've seen so far. So that's an option. And that probably would take us through Photoshop. It would probably require us to do a little bit in Blockbench along with actually doing the coding portion of it. So that might be a decent one to kind of touch all bases. Some of the other ones that I had was gold like bars like iron and chains that are gold in color. That was something that Argobot had mentioned, similar to iron bars and copper bars and chains like that was another possibility. And then I've got a few others around kind of pots and having different colored pots. And then, the other kind of fun one that was in my list that might be interesting would be the seeing if we could increase the damage dealt by cooked foods like steaks and pork chops. Just based off of your attacking various things with them. And I think I missed adding an audio here. Because did you guys lose the music? There you go. All right. So let's see what we can do with that brown leaves idea. So let me just take a look at where we're at. All right. So I think based off of the way this visually looks to me as compared to the most recent one I did, which was that Clovercraft Clover one, this looks like it's ready to go kind of, and has kind of all the stuff set up where structurally it needs to be. Cool. Yeah. So let's go. Cool. Music's back. Yeah. I'm still getting used to the scenes here in OBS, but I think it's pretty cool being able to set those up. So let's see. All right. So what I found in a lot of the cases with assets is you can get a lot of the starting point from the existing assets for the game. You can either get it by extracting from the Java version, or there actually is a GitHub repo that Mojang has out there called Bedrock Samples. And so that site, you can usually find the graphics that were used for different pieces and go off of that. So a lot of what I've been able to do to kind of understand how to structure things and how to make different assets has been by looking at the existing assets. And so let me flip back over to my browser one. Music stayed. Awesome. Okay. So here is the Mojang Bedrock Samples repository on GitHub. And so what you can basically do is, depending on what pieces you need, if you're building a Bedrock version, you can find examples of just about everything here. What I'll usually do is I'll go into the resource pack, which is where all the graphics are for a mod and for the base game. And then you kind of can go through these and you can say, okay, well, when you place down a block, what you see on each side of it is generally considered a texture. And so that would fall into this textures folder. This, I believe, does include things like your leaf litter. And so what I'm thinking for this is we're going to take the leaf litter and basically put it on all sides of a cube as the way to kind of get our brown leaf. So if I go into textures, let me see, where would we go? It's probably items. And then I'm just going to do a search in here. I might have to scroll to find it if it's in here. It's not on the page because it only listed 1,000 items. So let's see, how do we want to do this? I might be able to see if it might be something where I can just guess the name of the graphic. Yeah, so there we go. So we've got leaf litter graphic here. And I was able to kind of guess that name based off of how everything's named asset-wise for their stuff. It's usually very clear, tells you exactly what it is. So it was pretty easy to kind of guess that. So what we can do then is we can download the raw file. So that downloaded that leaf litter PNG file for me. And then what we should be able to do with that is bring that into Photoshop if we wanted to tweak any coloring on it. And go into Blockbench with it to use it to put on the sides of a cube. So let me see. Do I have Blockbench configured as a scene? I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over here to Photoshop and I'm just going to switch up. So I got to launch Blockbench first. But one of the nice things with Blockbench is they actually have a couple of items that are Minecraft specific for building out blocks. So let me switch this over. Blockbench. There we go. So there's a couple of these loaders that you can pull in. I think they were installs that I could add into Blockbench through. They have like a plugin system, plugins, and you search Minecraft, and you can get this Minecraft block wizard, entity wizard, and item wizard, and these basically kind of just help you get started with them. And so it was the video where I made the concrete colored stairs. That was my first expedition into using Blockbench, and I used this block wizard as the starting point. So with that block wizard, you can basically kind of click on it. You can change what version you're targeting somewhere in here. Where was it? I don't want it to be Bedrock Edition. Oh, as you can see, that's some of my previous ones for that concrete stuff. So with the concrete one, I made all the white ones, and then I just swapped textures on it. So I didn't have to work in Blockbench for every single one of them. I was able to kind of copy them from one to the next. Sorry, I just saw. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. All right, so let's see if I can remember how to use this wizard. So when we do the wizard, I was thinking there was a way I can set what that is. Okay. So that's how. So I went under Tools, Minecraft Block Wizard, and that pulled this up where I can actually pick the different versions potentially with that. I thought this had a Java version in it, but let's see. So let's go. We're gonna say what do we want to call it? Maybe like brown leaf. Maybe call it brown leaves. And in this, we're gonna go ahead and call this. We're gonna put this under Livestream mod. This is called a namespace, and it's a way for separating different mod pieces as they get installed. In this case, we want it to be I think we want it to be construction. I think leaves probably are considered construction. And it is, let's see, what category does it fit in? Doesn't really fit in any of those. So let me just take a quick look at the nature. Leaves. Yeah, so we do want to do nature, leaves. All of this stuff is how it gets categorized and represented in creative and in the inventory setup pieces. And this is a nice thing about the wizard. It basically walks you through things. So we can actually start with leaves as our base. And let's see, what else do we go next on that? We want it to be a full block. The selection for it should be the same as the collision in this case. If we wanted to have it rotate in some way, we could do that. Behavior-wise, a lot of this should usually take on what we selected from that preset. Although I believe leaves can be waterlogged, which I think we want it to block liquid, but we want it to be able to contain liquid. Somebody's going to have to remind me, do leaves conduct redstone? I think they do. Yeah, because don't they? I feel like I've seen something where they use leaves to go up with redstone. So we'll just say it conducts redstone. Yeah, it can burn. I'm not sure what chance leaves have of burning, but we'll go with those default. Oh, you don't think they conduct redstone? I assume that's what you were referring to. All right. It's mineable. Shears is the most suitable tool. What else do we want? Tool tier. Shears only have one, so destroy time. This we can play with later too. Destructible by explosion. Yeah. I wonder if that's a difference between Bedrock and Java, even, because I am thinking where I saw it was on one of the Hermitcraft videos where they were using leaves to have signal go like up or down. Let's see, explosion resistance. That's probably the default for leaves. Here, it's not designed to emit light, and it will dampen light. We're going to leave this as the default, and part of what I'm assuming with this is that some of these settings that it's giving me are based off of the fact that I picked leaves back on the presets, so that this takes on that. It says tint method, default foliage. Yeah, let's see, map color. The color that this block will be displayed on a map item. Yeah, I think green is fine for that. Sound is the grass sound by default. Yeah, so you got lots of options kind of in the wizard of what it can sound like, and you can always swap out sounds later on. The block will drop itself when you loot it. And then we get to this point of export. So with this, essentially doing this, if you wanted to build something for Bedrock, it's pretty straightforward. You can export it as is, straight as a add-on. You can integrate it into an existing pack. You can export it just to a folder, or integrate it into an existing add-on. I've messed with both this export as an add-on, as a starting point for something before, and then I've also done the integrate into an existing add-on. In both of these cases, it creates the .mc add-on extension, which is just a fancy named zip file. If you rename those files to .zip on your computer, you can unzip them and get whatever assets are in it. So if you have a MC add-on that you've downloaded from somewhere, you can actually change it to zip, unzip it, and just look through what's in it to see how they did something, which for me is a great way to learn how to do things, is by deconstructing and trying to recreate things like that. I do know there's like a lot of stuff out there that people have just kind of put out there for free. And part of what I'm going to do with this is I want to put some more stuff out there for free that people can use if they want to as a starting point. But for this, because I'm going to try to take it over to Java from exporting it here, I'm going to just do an export to folder. And I'm not really sure how much of it will actually be able to be used for the Java thing. It may just be the leaflet or texture that ends up being able to be used. So in this case, it's going to be live stream mod. Enter DJ Brunch. And we'll just leave that for now. Go ahead and hit next. What does it want me to do? Maybe it's just that, maybe that's all the steps are and it already exported it to a folder. All right, let's go back then. Nope, doesn't want to do that. All right, let's see if we can get it to do this then. There we go. All right, so with this, I'll just export it out into my project folder and go from there with it. Hey, Tranquil Rampage. All right, so that generated the add-on for a Bedrock version of it. Actually, here, I totally missed this. We can do a Java block item. This is probably what I should have done to begin with. This is going to be brown leaves and format version. It's going to be 16 by 16. And let's see. So this is Blockbench if you're actually building blocks yourself. And so let me see if I can remember how to create a block in here now. We're going to add the texture. So we're going to go grab, where did this download? Let me grab it from my downloads, I think is where it went. Okay. Interesting. Let me see. We want to draw a block now. Add element, add cube. All right, so now we've got a cube. And it's going to be a full block, so it's going to be 16 by 16 by 16. And then what we should be able to do is add leaf litter here. So I'm just trying to remember how I get this actually in here. There we go. Did that actually apply to one of our sides at all? I don't think so. Nope. All right. Oh, there we go. So we got that applied. And the way it applies it is by directional. So if I go to east, I can also say apply to that face and basically just apply it to each face, including the top and bottom. Missed. What did we miss? North. So just using the leaf litter texture, we can basically do that to make a block that is a brown leaf block. Now, let me see. I want to export it here. So I'm going to export it into our project here. And it's going to go in, I think, source, main, resources, assets. I'm trying to remember where it goes. I'm going to stick it here for now, and we'll have AI move it for us. So one of the kind of neat things around this too is I just use this texture right now, but what we could actually do is we could actually in Photoshop create some other texture if we wanted it to have more color or potentially try to add more depth to it by doing different things, or we want to fill it in more. But for now, just kind of to keep us moving through this whole process, we'll just go with this for the time being. So let me switch over to Claude again. All right, so in here, I went ahead and put in that brown leaves file. And so what this basically says is how it was made, and then it gives it the faces, and it says, hey, here's the texture that's being used for it. So it's using leaf litter texture. So let me go ahead and let me just try to prompt Claude here with what I want him to do, what I want it to do. So actually, before I do that, let me rename this because I don't think it'll like the name that way. Typically, it's all lowercase with underscores between the words. So let's see. I added the brown leaves JSON into assets folder. This is going to be a type of leaf block for us. You weren't asleep, Frank? That's funny. It's probably the calming music. Let's see. So I'm prompting Claude right now. I'm trying to get him to basically move this and wire in the block for us into our mod. This is where type of leaf block for this mod. Can you put it in the correct structure in the folders and let me know where I need to put the leaf litter graphic, or if it will use the default from Minecraft. Hopefully that's enough explanation that it understands what I'm trying to do. So let's see, what could we do? Well, that's thinking. Why don't we could go take a look at trying to think. We could go take a look at some of the other assets, maybe inside of that Bedrock site. Well, it's kind of processing in the background. So let me flip over to the screen. So let's take a look and see. Let's see if chain. Do we have chain? We have chain. Oh, tiny asset. Let me download that and I'll go over to Photoshop and make it bigger. So we can take a look at what it looks like inside of Photoshop. Claude Code is not local by default. So, Claude Code app pieces are local, but it sends stuff out to the Claude servers that are run by Anthropic. I have been experimenting with trying to get it to be local by using a local LLM. I haven't had a lot of luck yet with that. But I also haven't had a whole lot of time to try to experiment with it. But it would be really cool if I can actually get it to be more local, where I can use Claude Code and point it to my local LLM, and then none of what I have on my computer would be going out to servers, and I'd be able to theoretically do all of this offline. Let me switch over. Oh, that's right. I switched that. So let me switch here. Jump into Photoshop. There we go. Let me zoom in on this guy. So here's the chain asset. And so with this, if we wanted to do gold chain, we would need to basically color this gold in some way. Pardon me. So the other asset that we might want to look at with this, or in conjunction with this, is maybe like a gold bar or the gold block. so that we can kind of get some of those matching gold colors. Yeah, in Cursor, I can use, the way I set it up to work is I can actually edit the files myself when I want to. So sometimes it takes longer to write a prompt to change one little line of code of what I know needs to be changed. But if I need it to scaffold the whole project like I did at the beginning, I can have it scaffold the whole project for me. But yeah, let me just pop over here behind the scenes. Let's see what we got. Okay. We'll come back to this chains piece since it's kind of possibly the next thing we'll add into this after we get the leaves going. But let's switch back here to Cursor. And as you can see, it's done. And what it did is it kind of moved things around and added a bunch of additional files for brown leaves. So it talked about the blocks. It added stuff for the block, for the item, different block states as part of that. And then I think it's going to be here, this textures block area, where we might have to add, textures block leaflitter.png. So we need to get our PNG file into this folder here. So I'm going to do that through the Finder. So I'm just going to kind of do that off the screen share here. Leaflitter, grab that texture and drop it into that folder. So I'm going to go here. And it wants me to put it into source, main, resources, assets, Livestream mod, textures, and block. So as you can see, I dropped it in on my Finder and it popped up here for this. Hi, David. So let's see. Let me see where we're at. Are we already at a point where we can build this and load it into Minecraft? We might actually be there already. Let's see. Move files into place. Funnel. So this is one thing that we probably will want to make after we maybe do the first round of testing is we may want to actually make something that looks like a block. So when we are holding it in our hand, it looks like a block, like you're holding a block. Because I think right now what it's going to do is it's just going to take that texture that we have and it's going to be like we're holding leaf litter versus the actual block shape. But I'm going to leave that as let's try it out and go from there. So let's see. Leaf litter texture. It will not use the Minecraft default. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so I need my own. Did that. Let's see, just drop it in. Two things still outstanding on the Java side. Okay, Since the bottle block state alone doesn't register a block, you'll need to an actual block instance registered. All right, so at that point, we say register the block for us. I have added the PNG. So hopefully this will just basically go through and add what's needed for it. And allow that. I've noticed lately on my Mac OS, there's a lot more pop-ups of apps wanting access to other apps and other locations and network stuff. And so I've been having to deny it a lot of times because I just don't think it needs the access that it's asking for really anything. So let's go ahead. I'm going to jump over and let's see if we can find the gold block in here. In the assets that are available on the Bedrock samples. Gold boots. Gold ingot, maybe? What's that one look like? Yeah, so with what I'm looking at here is, thanks for stopping by, David. What I'm looking at here is just a way to get the gold colors that are used in the game already, to use that on creating a gold chain. I did something similar to help create the gold lanterns, which I think I saw in an episode of the Sheepwood SMP recently. I think somebody saw them. Don't remember which episode it was. So I'm going to go ahead and download this one just so I have something as color reference. And then I will open that into Photoshop as well. And then we'll jump over to Photoshop. Yeah, I did think I did feel like I saw him. Yeah. So that was part of between Stormy and I, we worked through a lot of the mod pieces that have shown up. So all right, so now I've got basically these two assets. I've got our chain asset and I've got a gold ingot. And so again, gold ingot is reference for the colors used for gold. I'd almost prefer the gold block, but this might actually work better for the chain. And I'm guessing that a lot of it is very similar. So and before we make that, I'm going to take a quick look and see where we're at. Claude is still doing his thing. So let's go ahead and start playing with Photoshop and making a gold chain. So what I like to do with this is I'm guessing the dad, you've used Photoshop yourself probably quite a bit in what you do. And so with Photoshop, you probably could do the same thing with some other apps like I forget what the free open source version is. Is it GIMP maybe? That you can do very similar to Photoshop. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another layer and I'm going to jump between that gold ingot and the chain, and I'm going to basically draw on top of it with colors from that. So I'll be using the eyedropper. So I'm going to just start with kind of the darkest pieces. So we'll just grab this dark color, and then we'll come back here and use the pencil tool. And we'll just kind of hit all of these darker areas. Actually, let's back up. Let's turn off smoothing. We do not want it to be trying to anti-alias it, because we want exact pixels of color for this. So I'm guessing these are all the same color. So we'll just hit these ones up like that. And then, let's see. We've got probably 1, 2, 3 other colors, I'm thinking. So we'll come over here and let's grab the brightest one, and we'll put that into kind of these bright areas. And we may come back and do something lighter for these gold areas, or for these dark areas. It's feeling a little dark to me right now. And it's not going to look gold enough, you know. But like anything like this, you know, it's artist interpretation for it. So what I may end up liking, other people may go like, yeah, that doesn't quite work. But we'll see how it turns out. So let's do this. Did I cover up one of my bright spots? I think I did in that process. Yeah. So I just did an undo a bunch of times there to back out what I just did. Yeah, it's feeling a little dark to me for this brown, or too much of it, something. So maybe let's try this one as our dark instead. And just so I can kind of flip between them, I'm gonna do a new layer here for that one, and I'm just gonna put it over. I don't know. What do we think? That lighter, or going with that darker? This version, right? The the lighter version makes it a little bit more goldish. Okay, we'll go with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this as a Photoshop file, so I can reuse it later. I'm gonna put it in my DJ Brunch folder, and I'm just gonna call it gold chain. Do all of that. Demands more bling. Nice, Emerald. Yeah, that dark did look too dark for sure. Let's see. I'm gonna export now as a. I'll do it as a PNG. I'll export that, and then we're gonna go to our Livestream folder, and I'm gonna put it in resources, assets, Livestream mod, textures. I'm gonna do this here. So I just saved it into the project for the time being as a PNG with transparency, and we'll come to that as our second thing to add into this mod. And I will say this, chains, when I was trying to build chains for Bedrock mod, were very tricky to try to actually get them to work. And we'll see if I have better luck with it here in Java. I'm assuming it's going to be easier in Java, but it might be just as difficult. Let's see where we're at with. All right. So it says it registered everything for us. Looks like it registered our brown leaves. Upper leaf decay, persistence behavior. So this is the nice thing about, yeah, in general, I found that it's easier to do the mods for Java. I don't know, maybe easier is not the right word. What it feels like with the Java stuff is usually the first go at it ends up working right. And then with what I found with Bedrock is I have a lot more iterations to do it. Code-wise, they're both pretty simple. Code-wise, it's just like the way that they did Bedrock is more locked down. Yeah, thank you, Emerald. Yeah, it's definitely more locked down, so you can't access the same things that you can access in a Java edition. All right, so let's see. Sorry, I just want to read through what Claude has said it did. Okay. Okay. Oh. All right, so it skipped putting it into to the easy way to grab it from Creative. So I'm going to tell it to do that as well. Let's see. Go ahead and get so that we can pull it in Creative. This is the kind of nice stuff that it's one of those things where I honestly feel like almost anybody can get into programming and be able to build what they want to build and be creative in what they want to create now, with the way AI can handle a lot of the writing of the code. A lot of this stuff too, like if we get in there and it generates an error for us, we can basically feed that error back in and it'll go, oh, I see where stuff got messed up. Let me fix it. And it fixes it and kind of do cycles of testing that way. And it also lets you iterate much quicker, I feel like. It does make mistakes, so you do have to check it. But in general, that iteration process to me is a lot faster. So let's see, while it's doing that, let's go ahead and jump back over to Photoshop here. And so we've got a chain graphic at this point. Let me see if I can find the iron, what would it be, iron bars. So I'm just going to do this in the browser again. So looking at the Bedrock samples again, I'm going to guess iron bars. Nope. Iron bar. Nope. Yes, very important to know what questions to ask. And it is definitely getting better. Cool. Yeah, so how do they reference this? Is it bar iron? I didn't see that in this list. So what is it called in game? Let's do that. I'll do this. Iron bar graphic. Bedrock samples. It's supposed to be called iron bars. Maybe it's not in the repo. Items. Well, Cloud's finished, so we can jump back over there. Raw iron, iron ingot. Yeah, I was trying to think what the actual... It looks like the actual graphic is supposed to be called iron bars for the... Like the block here. But that does have like a 3D-ness to it as a block. So we might have to do a little bit more searching through the examples, or I might have to jump over and try to extract it from the Java assets pieces. But for now, we can jump back over here to Claude. He says so he's added it in to creative natural blocks for us. So now we should be able to actually build this. Ooh, that's a good option. The dad, checking out I'll see if I can find it on there. So we're gonna run this command, and so inside a cursor it has built-in terminal. So I'm just gonna open that up, and I will do this. I think one other piece that I may have missed mentioning at the beginning. I think most systems have Java installed on them, but you do need Java installed to be able to kind of do the compiling portion of this. The Mac OS has at least one version by default installed, and I can't remember if I had to do like an update for the version here, but you do need Java installed to be able to at least do the compiling portion of this.
Hey guys, I found the portal room.
Ooh. It actually booted up. So I actually didn't want it to do that. That actually booted up. I hadn't run it that way before. That booted up Minecraft. And what I actually want it to do is I actually want it to build the module so I can stick it in the folder and run it through the Minecraft version that I have installed. So I don't remember what that command is. There it is. So I actually want to run this, and so that compiles it, so that I can actually stick it in the folder. So let me figure out how I can show you where I'm going to put it on the system. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Okay. So let me flip back over here to this full screen here. So I have on my local machine, I've kind of bookmarked this mods folder. On my machine, it's basically in my DJ Brunch folder, library application support, Minecraft mods is where I can drop that in. And so I'm going to pull it from our project folder, which is here. And so I'm going to go up to the build folder. So inside this structure, where it actually builds it, it's called a build folder. And then it puts it into libs. And then you grab the one that is Livestream mod jar version 010. And I'm just going to copy that using my keyboard shortcut. And I'm going to paste it over here. And I'm going to reboot. I think this is the right folder for my Essentials version, but it may not be. So we'll have to see if it shows up. Actually, just to make sure. I think it's a different location for Essentials. I think that mod folder that I showed is the one where the default version of Minecraft is. So like your main version. I found in most cases it's better to use a different version in the Java side of it. For that, the Essentials is a pretty nice loader. Modrinth is a pretty decent loader, I found. And both of them, I haven't had too much trouble adding my own custom mods through that. I know you can do it with the vanilla version as well. I just find it easier to manage it through a separate version. So let me figure out where that folder is. Library, application support. Maybe it is the same folder. Looks like it is the same folder. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to launch this now. So it's going to start off with the launcher. Here is my Fabric Essential version, and I'm going to hit play, and it's probably going to jump back to my other screen. Go. All right, so let's try a single player. New world. Live stream mod. July 16th. Let's do creative. Peaceful, so we're not dealing with anything, although creative by default I think is pretty peaceful. Commands on. All right, let's generate a new world. Will we end up in a snowy biome? Nope, but we will end up underwater. Okay. All right. Let us see. I Do not see our brown leaves. Let's see if I search leaves. Is that, nope, that's leaf litter. So it did not load for me. So why did it not load for me? I still think it didn't load because I do really think that it is a different folder where it is. So I'm going to go ahead and quit again and try again to find that location where this needs to go. Because I really feel like it was actually called Essentials. See it anywhere. So I am going to take a short break here. Feed our dog some late evening snack and let her out. And I will, when I come back, will also, before I kind of come back on, I'll figure out where this mod is supposed to be and put it in the correct place so that it loads. So I will be back in about 5-ish minutes or so. to it here. Don't know if I missed. I saw. Okay, just catching up on the chat here. So, Dad, with that Eliminate series, you guys did mod rinse. Yeah, so Essentials is another option for doing some of these installs. And so I knew that mods folder wasn't the right location, and I just had to do the right search to figure out where it was. And so when Essentials does its installation, what it does is there's a installations folder that it creates, and that folder then has the version that you put in there, and in that version it has a mods folder. So I've gone ahead and copied our Livestream mod in there. Now when I launch it, it should automatically kind of detect that and bring it in. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Minecraft here. And again, it popped up over on the other one, other monitor. So I'm doing my Essentials Fabric version. I think it's going to pop up on the other screen again. All right. So we get to do some debugging. So here we go. We've got incompatible mods found. Basically outlines exactly what is wrong for us. Gives us a nice copy error button as well. I think it's copying the error, but we'll see if that actually copied it. So we're going to come back over here, take that copied error, paste it in here, and we're going to basically just give Claude that error message. Let's see. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell it to retarget the project. This is the other nice piece about it, is it just says, well, which way do you want which way do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that, or do you want to install it yourself? Yeah, that's the hope. So essentially the idea is you give Claude that error message, it looks at it and goes, oh, here's the problem. Okay, what do I need to do to fix that problem and make it compatible? And so in this case, it's going to go through, figure out what we need to do differently. We're going to need it. Looks like we're going to need a different version of Java. We're going to need a different version of a fabric. Yeah, exactly, the dad. This is the thing that basically goes into a lot of those LLMs, is they've put so much information into it. It'd be like, say you were able to memorize the entire, like, and this might be dating myself a little bit, like you'd have your whole set of encyclopedias all accessible in your brain, and you could just search for whatever you needed very quickly through them. That's essentially what an LLM is it does something like that, where it goes, oh, this thing that you asked looks like this other thing that I know about over here, and it connects it and puts it into a response. And so it's like it has, you know, a ton of everything that's been done as open source in Java, in JavaScript, in PHP, like whatever the programming language is. Yeah, Worldbrook. So it can just basically search all of that very quickly and make connections for all of it, and basically go, oh, well, then you need to do this and this and this, and here it is all put together in, you know, a fraction of the time that it used to take. Well, that's doing that. I'm going to hit exit on that. Nope, I do not need to send a crash report. I know it crashed. I know why it crashed. So we'll see what it does here. I feel like I ran into something similar the last time when I was doing the other mod, the Clovercraft mod. And I thought this was how we fixed it. But then again, what I had it make for that skill at the beginning that I had it, you know, frame the project in for, that was based off of the Clovercraft mod that I did, which theoretically should have known what versions we built it with. Yeah, so this is doing like all kinds of stuff with what are the differences between the 121.4 version, Java version of Minecraft, and now the 26.1.2 version. I think that's what it was, 26.1.2. Yeah, 26.1.2. I don't know how long this is going to take. So let's go back and see about finding that iron bar piece. So the dad said the wiki. So let's do the Minecraft wiki. We want to find iron bars. Yeah. Okay, so we've got iron bars there, and I know we have the graphic up top. Is there another section where it gives you other pieces? We're going to have to do a lot of coloring for this. I forgot how many different ways that it can interconnect like this. Yeah, so you see all the renders that they have down here for them. So every single one of those we have to replicate in gold to get a gold version of it. That's more than we can do tonight. So I'm going to save that one for a later time. So yeah, I forgot that like when you start placing blocks around things, you get a lot of this stuff. I dealt with the same thing when I built some walls with the concrete walls. It was very similar where it was like you had to build all these different directions. It feels like it was a few less than this that I had to build, but very, very similar to this. All right, so let's see what Claude's done over here. So says it built all good. It was scaffolded for that, but I'm actually using a different version. So kind of overviews kind of what all changed in it. All right, so it's saying our current fabric loader version, we need to upgrade that to the newer version. And it's giving me a link to be able to go do that. So let's go ahead and do that. So that fabric installer piece, when I clicked it, it linked me over here for that. Minecraft launcher. Now that downloaded even different version from what we're looking for. This is where modding gets tricky a lot of times. Because now I have to try to figure out where do I find version. Wait, hang on. Let me reread what Claude says. But this mod requires greater than or equal to 0.19.3 for the fabric mod loader. Well, this is greater, so hopefully it's compatible. And all right, so that went to my downloads folder, and I think is that right? All right, so this, let me rebuild, let me do the build again, just to make sure it's completely built. Place the existing one. I don't know why this is looking like it's might not be right. It's just, we're going to just launch and see what we get with this. Yeah, we still got it. We still got it. Yeah, so that happened because I didn't update the loader. And so I need to try to figure out how I update that loader, because I do believe it is tied directly to the Fabric installation. So I think I might actually have to download Fabric installer and redo it with the new version of Fabric. So Minecraft Essentials installer. And download that one. Looks like it's still the same version I already have. That I downloaded the last time. It looks like that hasn't updated at all. Yeah, so their Essentials installer hasn't updated at all. So I'm going to run the Essentials installer here. Make sure I've closed out of the Minecraft launcher. Select Minecraft launcher. It seems like it's going to install the exact same version. Let me see if I can tell it to adjust it back down to... So I'm going to tell Claude to adjust it back down to the... the Fabric version. Sorry. The Fabric version number 0.19.2. So basically, I'm just prompting Claude, telling him let's adjust the mod to be compatible with Fabric Loader 0.19.2, and hopefully he'll just do it. My guess would be that it could just be that when it went out and detected like what was available, it detected, oh, the most current version is 19.3, or the latest version of the .19 is .3. And it's just a matter of telling it, hey, no, just make it be .2 or higher. And then hopefully we can actually get it to load. Because right now, basically, the error message that we got was saying, this mod is saying you need 0.19.3 or higher. And that probably is the only issue, is that it says that we need that. So it stopped us from being able to load it. But we'll see here in a second. So we're going to go ahead and run the rebuild there. Okay, Rebuild successful. So let's jump back to our full screen over here. There's our new build of it. Drop it in. Replacing the old version. And here we go. Third time's a charm, right? All right, here we go. Fingers crossed. That's what we like to see. We like to see the Mojang screen. All right, here we go. Single player. Let's just try jumping right back into our world here. Creative search. Brown. All right. Searching brown. We get this purple and black. That's our brown leaves. We're missing a piece. But that is our brown leaves. Let's see what happens when we stick it in our inventory. All right. So we're close. We've got it placing in the world, and it actually looks like what we built. And the only problem we have now is when we're holding it and when it's in our inventory that we need to fix. Yeah, missing texture icon. So let me go ahead and quit out of there. And then we'll jump back over. And it's probably just a matter of getting the right piece in the right location. So let's go back over here. We missed the icon for when the block is in our inventory and our hand. Nice one, Emerald. So basically, at this point, I'm hoping that Cloud is either going to tell me, oh, you need to put such and such files in this location, or it's going to do it for me and just put them in there. Yeah, and so what I was saying about that version there, it was compatible with 19.2 in terms of the code itself, but it was just that when it wrote the requirement, it said, oh, you need this version or higher, and so then it failed to load it. So by just changing the required version, it was able to load it. Yeah, and so when we're done, the other part of this that we should have is a pretty decent claude.md file, which hopefully is generic enough that any project that say you'd want to do in the future, you can drop it in there, and you'll have a jump start to work with Claude on it. So let's see, root cause. Okay, so yeah, so it had some changes that needed to be done around it. All right, so it thinks we're good to go with that. And then, all right, so we just did a new build. We'll copy that here, paste it into our folder. What keeps popping up on my other screen is just, hey, do you want to replace this? So we replaced. Now we should be able to launch again. And getting the Mojang screen again so we didn't break anything. There we go. So now coming in, it's seems a little big on my screen, but now we have no more. So there we go. Oop. Let me pull up the inventory here real quick. Yeah, and it looks like the other piece that we're missing is we don't have a translation in there, which should be pretty straightforward to adjust. And so it's showing us item.livestreammod.brownleaves because we don't have a translation, I believe, in the en.us JSON file. So yeah, I'm interested to see that data pack that you've been working on, Emerald. Am I correct that the one video that you did with the like single layer that like as soon as you drill through it, then there's like mineshaft underneath and stuff like that, was that a data pack that you were building, or was that one you found? All right, so I'm gonna jump out one more time. We'll jump. Oh wait. Sorry, I just realized I wasn't showing me actually playing. So let's go back in here. All right. So I was talking through this and I just realized that I wasn't actually showing that screen. So yeah, so now we've got a block. It looks like a block in our hand. Looks a little big in our hand to me, so might have to figure out why that's happening. In the inventory, it looks like it just kind of has the leaf litter part of it. But yeah, so now you can, I mean, I guess it's beneficial that we spawned in a desert biome, because brown leaves in a desert biome seems fitting. And again, like texture wise, we could mess around with the texture, make it thicker, you know, add more to it. There might also be some additional things that we could add to it. I'm trying to remember if in vanilla some of the leaves have like look like they have the pieces kind of poking off of it and stuff like that. Dappled deserts. Nice. Yeah, so like I said, that there, sorry, what I was pointing out here with the naming, I was talking through the naming here. So right now we're getting this item.livestream.brown leaves. That should actually have a translation with it to make it be, to actually just say brown leaves there instead. So that's the other thing that I want to jump back over and try to fix before we're done for streaming tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and quit out of there. Jump back to Claude and cursor one more time. And for this one, I'm going to just see if I can fix it without using Claude. So, yeah. So as you can see here, this is our translation file. And so what it's looking for here is, shoot, I should have taken a screenshot. But it's basically looking for item dot brown leaves like that. All right, we'll do that test. The dad. We'll see see if we can stick it on top of the dead bush twig. All right, so there's my language fix. Go place that. Launch it one more time. That's something else we should try out too here while we're testing. And this, at this point, it probably needs a little bit more testing. Like, grab a water bucket, see what happens when I try to stick water in it. Make sure it does what I think it's supposed to do there. Let's see if we can do this. Nope. It broke and placed. So I'm going to have to do it like that. I totally missed that part, Emerald. But yeah, when you start putting files in that it doesn't know anything about, it starts to question if it's hallucinating. Ooh, yeah, natural generation in the world. So that's definitely possible because yeah, we're nowhere near. But I also have that Clovercraft mod installed here, so I think if I search Clover, yeah, I've got those clovers, and I managed to make those naturally spawn in the world. Can't place them on sand though, which probably makes sense because I don't think I programmed it to allow for that. We are in creative though, so let's fly. Ooh, Badlands that way. Shipwreck this way. faster. That's some crazy terrain generation there. Swan looking generation. Jungle. Wait, is this jungle? This is swamp. Swampy? Let's see if we can... I just kind of flew out here to see if I could see any of the naturally generated clover stuff. All right, so that's it. Time set. Oops. Time set. There we go. But yeah, so that world generation piece could be something. Kind of as a next step with this mod. Figure out like what would make sense for it to generate. So should it generate, you know, as like a dried oak tree in deserts? Maybe that would be appropriate with it. Or maybe it's at the edge of deserts, you know, kind of like this stuff here where you get the more decay, and have it be brown leaves in there on the tree as it's further out. Or maybe it could be added in there in some way. Again, not showing the Minecraft screen. So, yeah, so maybe something where when it's on the edge of biome like this, some of these leaves end up being brown in it. Yeah, I'll have to look into it and see how tough it is to implement that, but that would be that feels like it would, you know, thematically fit in the game. It might be something that you can say a percentage of chance for it to generate with that kind of leaf block as some of the leaves on that edge. And then, like I said, one of the potential alternatives would be like and it might be the easier option, would be like, you know, generate an oak tree at the edge of a desert where the oak tree looks like it just is all brown, and has completely maybe died because of lack of water or something like that. And I think another idea I thought of too that around this is I was reading a Dr. Seuss book to my son about deserts, and it talks about mesquite trees in the desert, and I was thinking like that might be a interesting mod to try to add mesquite trees that would generate in the desert. So maybe we could incorporate this leaf into that as well. But yeah, so yeah, so I think for me that feels like a good place to stop for tonight. I know we didn't quite get to the gold chain part of it, but this kind of feels like a good stopping point where I'm not even sure how long I am on this stream. Let me check that. Yeah, I'm about 2.5 hours, so that feels like a decent stream length to go off of. So I don't know what just happened there. So hopefully y'all learned a little bit about it and kind of see the overall process through this, which is what I was hoping people would kind of get from it. And then, like I said, I will kind of put this out there as we as I work through it. And that's one of the other things that with Git and being able to kind of version control with that, you using GitHub, you could take this mod and you could make a fork of it. You could do your own work in it, basically make it your own version. You could also like fork it, work on it, submit that back to me to merge into it. Like there's lots of collaboration that can happen around it using GitHub as well. So, yeah. So I will say good night and leave the music running here for a little bit. And thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for watching.